Hello, YouTube. Thought I'd do a quick video here. Something I've been kind of wondering, and I did email three companies that offer guides to help get people onto the summit on Mount Everest. There's three companies that I found. I sent them an email. I have not heard back from them. If I hear back from them, I will do an update video to this. If you don't see an update video, that means they never emailed me back. But the questions I asked them was what frequency, how much wattage, what brand name and model number of radios do you guys use for the climbers that climb Mount Everest? Now, obviously, I'm going to, probably a VHF is what they're probably going to be using because UHF is too much line of sight. I think VHF is probably what most likely they're going to be using. If I had to guess, I'm going to guess their frequency is going to be between 130 to 150, 60 megahertz. What I'm going to guess. Again, obviously Mount Everest is not located where there's FCC, and I don't know what the government there has, if any, on frequencies and wattage usage. So that's what I'm going to go with. Obviously they use the climbers use handhelds, so they're probably 5-watt radios would be my guess. Although they could be using business band, and some of the business bands only do about 2 watts, which would give them longer battery life. So they may not really need the full 5 watts because remember they're going up in elevation. So height is king. So I don't know. Maybe they don't use 5 watts for their radios. It might be 2 watts. They might even be able to get away with 1 watt. I'm not sure. I'm hoping they'll write back to me to tell me, because if they tell me the model number and brand name, I can look them up real easily. If they're not tech savvy and they don't know what the specs are on there. But I'm going to guess that's what they're using, VHF. Now, I'm also going to guess that they're probably using like a mobile unit with a power supply for their base station. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, remember, you got to keep in mind, they got to track all this stuff up to base camp and then, set it up. So they're going to need to keep it as light as possible. And by using a mobile and a power supply, they can separate that, meaning, let's say, 2 Sherpas or yaks, I think they call them yaks, like an ox type animal, they could split the weight up. You see, if you have a regular base station, you can't separate the power supply from it to help distribute the weight for the people that carry them. So I'm going to guess they're using a mobile unit with a power supply, obviously some type of a telescopic antenna for the base station at base camp. That's what I'm going to guess. And this way they can take, let's say for an example, let's say they need to carry, they only have 10 pounds they can, add to their pack. And if you have a mobile and a power supply, you can separate that, have one Sherpa carry one, then other Sherpa carry the mobile or the power supply, whichever one. And then that way they can balance out the weight better if they need to get that down to that, like say they'll only carry 30 pounds total, whatever the number is. It's easier to split up the weight when you have separate power supply and a separate radio is what I'm trying to say. So that's what I'm going to guess. I don't know, if they use solar or not. I'm sure hoping they write back to me. I'll post the links, like I said before, or maybe I didn't say it. I'll post the links in the description to the 3 companies I emailed to ask these questions. Now, I do can kind of see base camp obviously would be the base radio would be set up at, and then the climbers would have the handhelds. And I don't know, it looks like when you start to get around base camp 3 and 4, you kind of go around the curve there. So again, you're getting really high, so I don't know if they're going to need a lot of wattage with those radios to be able to talk to base camp. I suppose it depends on if you're on the south face or the north face, maybe that makes a difference too. I'm just really kind of curious on what they use here for their radio gear. So hopefully we'll get some conversation started here in the comments. Tell me what you think. What do you think that they use? What wattage? What frequency? Maybe a person out there may know the answer. Please, post the answer in the comments if you know it for sure. Again, if they write back, I'll do an update video. But if you don't see an update video, that means that they never wrote back to me. So, at any rate, if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Please subscribe. Thank you, and have a good day.